Hey everyone, Shlomo Brody here. Today we're going to discuss the custom of eating dairy on Shavuot. For some, eating cheesecake is their favorite minhag of the year. For others, like myself, it's one of the worst rulings in the Ramah, perhaps second only to his permissive ruling to allow cross-dressing on Purim. But in any case, the question is, what's the reason behind this minhag to eat dairy on Shavuot? There are many different explanations for this minhag, probably highlighting the fact there's no one true answer. A famous answer quoted in the Mishnah Berurah says that when the Jewish people came down from Har Sinai, they couldn't eat meat anymore because now they had the rules of Shechita. And therefore, what do they have available? Dairy food. And so the Jewish people continue to celebrate Shavuot by eating dairy. But as many have noted, this is far from the first explanation for this minhag. One of the earlier explanations is given in the Sefer Kolbo, who says that the Torah is compared to milk and honey, and therefore the custom is to eat milk or honey products on Shavuot. Note that the key factor here is not dairy products, but rather that it should be sweet. The Ramah adds a different explanation for this minhag. He says that it commemorates the two shtei lechem, the two breads that we consume on Shavuot in the Torah. And just as we have a Zecher, the Korban Pesach, on the holiday of Passover, so too we commemorate the Shtei Lechem on Shavuot. How is this done? Well, you first eat dairy with one loaf of bread, and then in order to follow the rules of separating meat and milk, you have to take out a separate loaf of bread to eat your meat with it. And therefore you get two loaves of bread. The assumption behind the Ramah, of course, is that people are going to have to eat meat as well on Shavuot. But is this the case? Is it true that we actually should be eating meat on Shavuot as well? This would make some of us very happy and other people quite upset. In truth, many commentators do say that we must eat meat on Shavuot as well, citing the Talmudic principle in the Gemara Pesachim, Ein simcha elav basar v'yayin. There's no true happiness, no true joy, unless one consumes meat and wine. Rambam codifies this law, and therefore many suggest that the milk that we consume on Shavuot should only be for a first course, or only should be for kiddush, but certainly one must still consume meat at their meal. Yet if one looks closer at the Gemara that talks about Ein simcha elav basar v'yayin, we see that the Gemara specifies that this is only true in the times when there's a korban. We have to have meat of the korban in that time period. But without a korban, the Gemara itself concludes that the simcha only occurs through having wine. And therefore, if Yosef Karo himself doesn't codify this idea of requiring meat on Yom Tov, and many assert that this can be an explanation or a justification for only consuming dairy on Shavuot. Another compromise position has been suggested that maybe one meal should be dairy, but the other meal should be meat, or also to add some form of dish like fish or something else which is traditionally used at a luxurious meal. But ultimately, the most important thing is to make sure that you enjoy the meal, that you're truly having Simchat Yom Tov. In fact, probably the best explanation for the historical minhag, which developed in places like France and Germany, is that during the medieval time period, the best time of the year where they had a lot of milk products was this time of the year, around Shavuot. And that made people happy, and therefore they said, you know what, how can I celebrate this holiday? By having a feast that will make me really happy with dairy products. And the minhag stuck. It didn't spread to all Sephardic countries, but many Sephardim as well have also adopted this minhag. What do we do in the Brody home? So in the Brody home, we have a debate every year. Should we have milk eggs or flesh eggs? And we compromise by having two.
No. We're having two.
You're not letting me finish.
No. But we're having two milk eggs, but it's not up to discussion. I'm sorry.
And as my daughter just said, the compromise in the Brody family is to have two dairy meals. Chag Sameach.